All right, guys. It's Friday. You're not doing any work. You're probably drafting best ball teams, if we're being totally honest. So what better way to wrap up the week than with the Best Ball Mania 2 champion, Liam Murphy, here on Spike Week, drafting a Best Ball Mania 3 team with you guys. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, Liam.
Damn, the production values are really coming up on this.
We're working. We're grinding, dude. We're really trying to turn the production value around. It is funny though. We'll get into the actual stuff. Yeah. We'll get into the actual stuff that people care about. But like when I started all this shit, like you know, I mean, the first time you and I streamed together, you're sitting there like, you know, kind of in a makeshift little office. I'm kind of in almost like a makeshift office. We're like figuring this out. And like I was doing that for like a year, for like almost a year straight. You're just like figuring shit out. I just started start streaming, start talking about best ball. And you just like, it takes a long time to like figure all this shit out. And even when you start to figure it out, you like, well, it takes time. Like I got to redo the office. I got to do this. I got to do that. You know, it doesn't just like happen overnight. So hopefully we'll get there. Still plenty of things to improve upon.
Yeah, I was hoping to have my channel up and running by now, but I came down with COVID. You might hear it in my voice a little bit. We'll power through.
Yeah.
Kind of a good time with the NFL schedule release. So I'm quarantining at my girlfriend's place and just firing drafts left and right.
Oh, I figured that was your bedroom. It looked.
No.
So before we hop in, you know, draft will take 40 or 45 minutes. What's been kind of your, I don't mean like necessarily player specific takes, just kind of how, whatever you're feeling. Like the first 2 weeks, you know, you've been drafting some. What's kind of been your overall takeaway so far this year, maybe as compared to last year or just in general?
I mean, it's tough. Like it's tough to think about that. I regret I woke up really late the first day BBM released. I didn't wake up until like noon.
That was a good day.
I stayed up late, and so I saw some of your drafts where you're like getting Sky Moore in the last round. I didn't have quite that. Like I did get some good value on the rookies, but obviously the rookies are steamed even more so than usual, which, you know, like almost to like too much probably for some of them. I think offenses are being valued differently. Like we're not seeing a bunch of running backs in this dead zone. I don't know. Like my whole approach is kind of like holistic. Like let's just fire drafts, and the guys I was targeting kind of went up in value. So, and I've just been waiting for the schedule because now I think ADP should, in like a couple of weeks here, people are firing a steady volume on Underdog. ADP should kind of change where it like aligns with the week 17 game stacks almost. And so we'll see how that goes or if that does happen or not.
Yeah, I'm fascinated to see that part because, you know, it's something a lot of us had talked about. You were obviously focused on it. I talked about it, you know, the Herzigs of the world, Peter, you know, people that were really grinding this stuff were in on that. But I don't think it was quite like, you know, it hadn't quite taken the industry by storm type of thing. Like people were more on just like general stacking, but like the optimizing yourself for the playoffs and specifically optimizing yourself for the championship round. I don't think it was really that big of a deal across the space this year. Again, maybe it's our little bubble that we're in, but I felt like I was just seeing so many more people that were like, oh, the championship week. I get it. I need to be focused on that.
I can tell. So the second the schedule released at 8 p.m., I pulled up my old tracker from last year, made a new tracker, looked up each team's social media account, typed the teams out, tweeted it out, and got, you know, like probably like my most interactive tweet and like 50 new followers. Because I got that schedule. I checked that schedule out. Shout out Mavis Beacon in like 15 minutes. And gave them the Excel sheet. So people are definitely going to be focused on it. I can say for myself, my first year playing best ball 2 years ago, I looked at week 15, 6 or week 14, 15, 16 because it wasn't 17 then. And I looked at like all of the playoffs kind of like holistically. This last year, I really strictly focused on week 17. And I think I'll do that again.
Was there any specific takeaway that you had from the first year that kind of drove you more to week 17, or just learning kind of through the process?
Yeah, I mean, the first year there was no content, there was no people talking, there was and so I literally like looked at that schedule and I was like, okay, I'm not going to take Dalvin Cook that much because I think they're playing like the Bears. They're playing like a couple teams with strong run defense. And so I was projecting like run defenses 15 weeks out. And Dalvin Cook did actually have a bad fantasy playoffs, but he crushed the regular season. So it was like,
he was a monster.
Bad. Yeah, it's clearly bad process.
He was a second round pick, right? Yeah, he was like one of the league winners.
He was late first by the time I found it. And so I was just taking I was taking like some dusty like Josh Jacobs over him or something.
That year, Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake. I'm trying to remember that.
Yeah, Nick Chubb was going around there.
The 1-2 turn was fucking wild that year. Like we look back and you're like, Kenyon Drake is now Josh Jacobs' maybe not even his backup.
Michael Thomas was like the 103 or something.
Yeah, wild year. That was wild.
Yeah, and then I mean, this last year, obviously, just like with all the money being correlated. I mean, in like in the last week, I pretty strictly worried about week 17, and even drafting now. Like now that hey, let's do you have the week 17 schedule memorized?
Not memorized, but most of the teams that I care about are memorized.
Yeah. I think I got it. You could quiz me, and I think I know it.
Well, now. As we'll go through the draft, like every player that we pick, I'll be like, who does he play in week 17?
Yeah. But no, like even now, like I built some teams with week 17 up in mind, but you can't do it always, right? Because like these games you want to stack, they're expensive, and then like. We have like no news. Like the amount of drafts that have been done without any like training camp and whatnot is kind of wild to this extent.
It really is. I mean, like Jarvis Landry just signed today.
I know. I don't have any of them.
And then zero. Yeah, absolutely zero. And that's like there's people like in our Discord that are like, no, like the things I'm hearing, and you always have to take everything with a grain of salt, not just from people in Discord, but just in general in our space. But they're like, they feel like they're a little more tuned in maybe to the Saints, and they're like, no, Michael Thomas is like, the reports are like he's not gonna be ready. Like there's still something seriously like almost catastrophically wrong with his ankle, which I have no idea if that's true or not. But then it's like Jarvis Landry signs and they trade up for Chris Olave, and you're like, well, I could see how that could be true, and I don't have any of those fucking guys. And I'm like, is that good process? Is that bad process? I don't know. But like you said, the amount of drafts that have happened and all the news we had starting 3 months ago for like a month and a half, and then nothing. It's just been nothing ever since then. And we still needed Fuller. We still needed Landry. We still needed Julio. We still needed Sony. There's a couple of backs, right? Are one of these guys going to come back to the Chiefs? It's a big fucking deal for CEH and for Rojo. You know what I mean? And we don't know. And like we're investing a lot of money before we know these things.
Yeah. I mean, like the way I am is like if a player has like lit up the league, so like a la Michael Thomas or Will Fuller, I'm gonna draft, like I'm gonna have some percentage of them just in case they're back. So I've been taking some Michael Thomas. I didn't think, like I thought he was kind of a tier break if he's healthy, but
yeah,
I don't know. Is this Jarvis Landry like a nail in the coffin? I definitely don't think, like the Saints think they're contenders. So
right.
I mean, I feel like you need Michael Thomas to be that part.
Yeah, 100%. And they definitely feel like they're contenders. I mean, that's why they'll do this until like it's like absolutely evident that they're not contenders, right? Until they win 4 games in a year. Like as long as they keep winning 8 or 9 games, they're not going to stop.
Well, and the NFC is kind of weak. So
yeah, and I don't blame them. I mean, go for it. Absolutely. And if Michael Thomas is back and you still have Alvin Kamara in his prime, you get late stage Jarvis Landry. If Olave is pretty good, their defense is really good. So who's to say they can't win the NFC?
Didn't they lose some pieces? Did they have to like get rid of some of the core old guys?
They had to lose some because they were in cap hell, but they figured it out somehow. Like the Packers, just like the Packers did. None of that shit makes any sense to me. But let's just hop in. Let's just hop into a draft.
Let's do it.
We can start talking through all this other fun stuff in a draft.
How many have you done so far?
22. So this will be 23.
I think I'm at like 40. I'm doing like heavy barbell where So I had to wait to get to the schedule release. It was hard.
I know. It was so I've only done. I got to 20. So same thing. I was like, okay, I want to get comfortable before the schedule comes out. So I'm like, I'll do 15. And the next thing you know, I'm like, I get to 15, and I'm just like, I have this thought, right? Like I'm just like walking the dogs. I'm like, what about this? And then I'm like, well, fuck it. Let's fire up another draft. So I do it. I end up getting to 20. And then the schedule comes out last night. And similar to you, I'm like, well, I'm trying to get all this shit together. Schedules, bye weeks. The bye week was way worse than like the playoff schedule stuff, because like if you knock out one team with the playoff schedule, like it helps slot in other teams, right? Like I have the Cardinals, so I have the 3 teams that they play, whatever. I can start to slot stuff in. The bye weeks was like absolutely miserable. And all the teams put these graphics up, right, on their Twitter.
Yeah,
so I'm pulling up and you can't tell when the fucking bye week is on there. No. Not easily. And so that was absolutely literally I would never want to do that again.
I don't stress bye weeks too much, honestly, doing drafts, unless like even quarterback. I'll do like I did a Herbert Allen team last year, knowing they both had the same bye, just for the uniqueness. But any other position, I really don't stress bye.
I don't worry about it. I just know that people care about it. And I don't know what the right answer is. I just know that people care about it more than I
know. I know for like advancing, obviously, like, you don't want it, but come playoffs, who cares,
and the big thing for me is we're hearing a lot more of kind of, people talking about uniqueness and all that stuff come the playoffs. The easiest way to make sure you're handicapping your uniqueness is to guarantee, is to lock yourself out of combinations of players, right? Like if Michael Thomas and Justin Jefferson have the same bye, I don't have the bye weeks memorized because that's how much I care about them. If they have the same bye and I won't draft them together because they have the same bye, I've just locked myself out of that combination in the playoffs, like instantly. And so that's the biggest thing for me, even more than like advance rate and all that kind of stuff. Wow, Chase is still here, huh? Let me see.
Yeah, I feel
there goes Chase.
Sorry. Who do you want to go here?
It's one of the receivers. I'm not really interested in the running back.
I like Diggs then. I mean, I just there's if you look at those season totals, which obviously isn't everything, there is no way Derek Carr is going to support Adams like Rodgers is, right? Like, so
yeah.
I don't know. Talking about the first round guys, I have almost no Adams. Actually, I have 0. I have no Derrick Henry. And I feel like this year's unique where the top 3 guys are stronger than previous years, right? Like,
yeah,
CMC, Taylor, and Cup, and then obviously I like the guys after them, are way stronger than like, these. I mean, obviously CMC's been there every year, so injury, whatever. But like, we like the years with Derrick Henry and Zeke going top 3 overall, or Kamara last year, like there's no questions about, Taylor, CMC, or Cup other than, injuries can happen.
Right. And that's the only thing with, well, I guess CMC, you could argue the offense, but even then he's been in this shit offense for years and it hasn't mattered to his fantasy value. Right. So, yeah, I agree with that. And that's a big thing for me is that, Paul says, Diggs is on brand. That is true. And Tony says, how dare you skip Najee? Because this asshole's going around touting Najee on everything.
I do like Najee. I've been taking Najee. I've been taking kind of like equally with Diggs there. And You want a take for the Bills offense? I'll give you a take for the Bills offense.
Yes. This is what everybody is here for. There's people watching this, and they only came here for the Bills takes.
This is my take on the Bills. I do think they will run more 2 tight end stuff.
Okay.
Than in the past, where in the past they've been at literally 0, right? Like they don't run 2 tight ends. They run 4 wide receivers. So what does that do to the offense? It takes a Crowder off the field. It takes a McKenzie off the field, whatever. And you have okay, let's do our pick here.
Let's hit.
I like DeAndre quite a bit.
Yep.
I have no problem taking running backs on bad offenses, and Detroit flat out might be good. Other than their defense.
I'm very bullish on Detroit. My only other
I also like AJ Brown, and he doesn't go this early that often.
Yeah,
if you want to get unique.
AJ Brown or Evans are my other 2. Let's maybe try Swift. I actually don't have enough Swift because I take so many of these wide receivers here. So let's try. This is a different build for me. A Diggs Swift. I would almost guarantee I don't have this start. So
I think I got a couple like this. So what does that do to the offense with the Bills? It brings 2 tight ends on, right? So now your wide receivers are Diggs, Gabriel Davis, and Knox. So now you only got 3 pass catchers, and then maybe it's James Cook, maybe it's Singletary. I've been kind of taking both. Singletary's either going to smash this season. I do think they might even run the ball more, but something that I just think Josh Allen, just how unique of a player he is. When you think through it, he might be the best 2 tight end quarterback in the league, where he can run the power O, right? And so you have these 2 tight ends. You have OJ Howard now blocking, or he can throw to Diggs, Gabriel Davis, Knox. You can even throw Diggs into the slot, kind of like this Cooper Kupp mold, and you have Knox and Davis on the outside. So I really like Knox. Obviously, I like Davis. I like Diggs, but I think all those guys could have more, because let's say the Bills run 2 tight ends at 15% opposed to 0 last year, right?
Yeah.
Beasley wasn't really, a piece you needed last year. I've not been taking Crowder at his price now. I was taking him when he was an 18th round pick, but that's just my take. And maybe they try it and it doesn't work and they go back to 4 wide receiver, because clearly they have the pass catchers there. But that's kind of where I'm at on the Bills. I do think the 2 tight end stuff is maybe real.
Well, and the big thing about that has always stuck to me, shout out to Lord Reeves, Rich Rebar, who came on our show on Wednesday. He didn't say this on Wednesday, but I've listened to him in the past talk about the Cardinals in this light. They're very similar. No, they don't run the same kind of offense from an air raid versus how the Bills play, but structurally they're fairly similar in that what people don't realize is the Cardinals actually run a lot of 2 tight end stuff. I believe Rich said they were first or second in 12 personnel in the NFL. And you're like, what? You're like,
yeah, I looked. I think I have that actually in my spreadsheet. I think I have the Warren Sharp formation grid thing.
And so nobody thinks about that, right? So they draft Trey McBride, and everybody's like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Well, they've already been doing this. It was just with Max Williams, before. You just didn't realize it because Max Williams
kind of good last year until he went down.
I know he actually had some usability from fantasy, but anyway, right? So the Bills can just do that. Yes, that definitely hurts the slot roll, Crowder, McKenzie, Shakir, whatever. But you can still if they run 10 personnel and they run this 12 personnel and just mix that in a little bit more, it's obviously awesome for the tight ends, but it's similar to Arizona. It actually could just be good for kind of the core pieces, right? It might help Knox a little bit more. It's not hurting Gabe and Diggs. We're on the clock and we talk about it a little bit here.
I'm okay. I mean, so Kyle Pitts I like, but I don't are you viewing him a tier above the other guys?
He's much close. I think I have him a tier above, but it's very, very close.
Deontay Johnson is someone I like a lot. I've been getting him kind of cheaper though.
I prefer DJ Moore. Do you prefer Deontay or DJ Moore? I'm just gonna queue a couple guys because we got 2 seconds.
Let's just do DJ because I've been doing Deontay.
Okay, and who knows? Maybe maybe we get a.
Well, I've gone Deontay all the way at the end of the 1 pick.
people are a little skittish of Deontay, and I mean Deontay is kind of all the Steelers. You mentioned Najee. I feel the same way. Last year, I don't think I drafted Najee. That was a stand I was willing to take, and it was like kind of right on Underdog and like so wrong on DraftKings. But I don't view him that way this year at all, just because I think there's some untapped upside now with Pickett or Trubisky. Honestly, Ben was just so goddamn bad.
Yeah, that's why I like Deontay, is because I just think
same thing. That's the
Ben
same thing for me.
But on the other hand, maybe Deontay just fit the way that Ben wanted to play.
He just threw it to him every snap, right? It was Najee or Deontay. He didn't throw it to anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, but like, so the Steelers are probably the worst team in that division, so they're gonna have to throw. Who knows what's going on with Cleveland? Have you been taking Deshaun a lot? I have 0, and I'm just like, I saw you take him on a drafters draft.
I force myself to take him sometimes because I don't know what the right answer is. He's one of those guys. I have really firm takes similar to you, kind of, I think, on most things. And he's the one where I'm like, dude, if we got to the season and he was not suspended or suspended for like 2 games, would you be surprised? And so no. I'm just kind of forcing myself to take some. Usually I'm trying to take it at a decent value, right?
Can you scroll down on the draft?
I got it zoomed in pretty.
I mean, I know a brand guy for you, and I'm the same way. I was heavy on him last year. But how about while he's on the clock, let's talk about Seattle. I've taken no DK Metcalf, or I have 1 share DK. I have no shares of Lockett.
0 of both.
I like Mike Williams a lot. Like, I think he should be going over Keenan, in my opinion.
100%. I mean, he's obviously risen a lot, right? Like
on Underdog specifically, where you care about touchdowns, but I mean, the guy is a lock for 10 touchdowns if he's healthy.
And the upside is Keenan is getting older. Keenan is not going to earn more of the offense.
I think Keenan's maybe 30 now.
Yeah. If anything, it's going to, and he possibly started to take a step back last year.
And I think the Chargers are the 2nd best team in the NFL, personally.
They're awesome. And then it's similar to the Bills. It's not the same thing. It's similar to the Bills in that you can trust their head coach to do the right things. You can trust that they're going to throw. They have a superstar young quarterback who fits with Mike Williams, right? Just an absolute cannon for an arm. It's kind of like Mike Williams is a much more mature and refined Gabe Davis in that it just is such a perfect fit in this offense, in an offense we can trust, the coach we can trust, which is like kind of tough to find, right? Like, I mean, look at the Falcons last year. We thought that they had a coach we could trust, and they would fall behind by 14 in the 4th quarter, and they're running Mike Davis between the tackles, right? We don't get these situations all that often, and it's like, is Mike Williams going to end up a 1st-round pick next year? No, probably not. But like you said, assuming health, I'm getting double-digit.
Keenan could be like a 10th-round pick. Like, who knows?
Right, exactly. He could be 2nd. He could be Debo.
Yeah.
Where next year he's going in the 2nd, and then other guys going in the 8th.
I had a lot of both last year. I had way more Mike Williams on Underdog. I don't want to have 0 Keenan for sure, because I believe in the offense. And if Eckler goes down, maybe Keenan gets a lot of those like Eckler type targets.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Mike Williams is like Gabe Davis, but we've kind of seen it more with him already. Like we're doing a little bit more projection with Gabe. Like I think, like barring the Bills signing Will Fuller or something, it's happening with him. But I feel like a lot of wide receivers in this group kind of similar. For me, it's like Marquise Brown, Mike Williams, Gabriel Davis. All those guys are kind of, good to me. Juju.
Yeah. Which there's a big tier from that, almost from that Deontay DJ Moore, right? So you get past AJ Brown, probably something like that.
Yeah, AJ Brown is a cutoff,
and then you get. I have a lot of Deontay. Yeah, same. You get to this Deontay, DJ Moore, etc., and from there all the way down to like the Juju. Like, I mean, I prefer DJ Moore obviously and Deontay to Juju, but like there's that tier there of like 15 guys or something like that is like all really strong, and so somewhat similar to last year where that's a tier I'm living in a lot.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot. Like, I'm not taking Antonio Gibson.
No, not
I'm
at
not.
this cost.
Okay, so let's just get
So
Gabriel Davis
I was
here.
just gonna say this is way too perfect, right?
Yeah.
How is this happening?
And
So
again,
this,
like, so yeah, we don't have Josh Allen, but I don't care because we're betting on the reason why I'm not too high on DJ Moore is like the Panthers could just suck, but he's gonna do it he's gonna get his 1,204. Like, I guess that's like
minimum.
a 4 if he's healthy. And who knows, maybe that rookie guy, maybe that like who do you think's gonna play there for quarterback?
I would guess that they start the year with Darnold and we get the typical Darnold.
Well, and they play the Bucs week 17, so that's something we like.
Yeah, I don't have their full schedule. I'm trying to memorize the full all 3 weeks because I'm
not doing that. I'm just doing week 17.
Okay.
I look at it when I'm doing like a draft by myself. Maybe I'll like look. Like I know who has like kind of like soft schedules. Like the Jags and Jets, they both look like they have good playoff schedules.
I know. It's nice. I'm gonna draft a little more, particularly Lawrence. I'm gonna draft a little more.
So what are you doing with his wide receiver 2 there? Are we plugging our nose and grabbing Marvin?
I'm not fucking drafting Marvin Jones.
Is it Zay?
It's Zay, baby. It's 18th round Zay.
Is Will Fuller coming in to save the day?
I mean, that would be sweet because I have a shit ton of Will Fuller, and I probably stumbled myself into some Jags Will Fuller teams. But I think it's Zay. Zay is a reasonable, like, punt, big play. You know, in the right matchup, he can absolutely have an MVS type spike week. He's not MVS. He's a much shittier version of that. But from an archetype perspective, they're in the same range from an archetype and how they are. And so if Lawrence ascends and if they get this smash matchup in week 17, I think Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram would be the I guess de factos, but I like
ETN here. I can't see all the names.
Yes.
Okay. I like ETN.
We're also fresh out of wide receivers, and we're obviously pretty set at wide receiver.
Yeah, I like ETN.
You mentioned I like ETN, and I mean we were talking about the Jags. There's a way to get some Jags, right?
I have no problem just doing Lawrence and him. What about Robinson? What are you doing? I was doing a lot pre-draft. I hate
taking these old running backs with a serious injury. I don't mean old. Like non-explosive, like grinder type running backs coming back, with ETN in the backfield with them. But again,
was Doug Peterson a running back committee guy?
I think he's going to play. Yeah. Assuming Robinson is healthy, ETN's not going to. I think ETN, the ceiling outcome for ETN is the Kamara archetype.
Yeah.
And James Robinson is Mark Ingram, right? Or Latavius. I think that's what you're looking for on this team, which is good for both of them, honestly, assuming health, right? And then they have the contingent value of it's the same thing. What we saw with the Saints is if Ingram gets hurt, Kamara plays 95% of the snaps, and he's like the RB1 in all of fantasy, and vice versa. If Kamara goes down, Ingram or Latavius are like top 5 running backs, and this is not the Saints, but if they ascend, if they take a step forward, I do think
that division is open for the taking. Like, I guess I would give the lean towards the Colts.
I think it's still the Colts for me. Yeah.
Over the Titans. I think Matt Ryan should do well in this offense, but who knows? I think Lawrence is he's got to be better, right?
It can't be fucking worse. It cannot be worse. That was so bad. That was more disappointing than Trey Lance. Trey Lance didn't fucking play. He couldn't beat out Jimmy Garoppolo, and I was more disappointed with
Do you think it was him or was it Meyer?
I think it's like most things, a combination of both.
It's just so hard to judge anything with that.
Yeah. Bozo. I think he objectively played bad. I think Trevor. I think you can definitively say Trevor Lawrence played bad. Setting aside Urban Meyer and the clown show that was going on in Jacksonville, but when you're put in it's easy to play bad when you're put in a bad situation and you have bad talent around you.
Yeah, the O-line most of all, right?
So no one's getting open and there's no protection and you can't run the ball. So like, and you have a coach who's more interested in playing grab ass with 20-year-olds than coaching an NFL team.
Did you see that video of his friend smoking the bong on the boat?
Dude, I'm obsessed with the Urban Meyer content. I could probably sit here for hours and watch
That's
like this guy.
video.
Fox is like trying to hire him back. I don't know if that was a real rumor or something, but I saw a tweet come across my timeline that Fox is like interested in bringing him back to do Saturday college football stuff. And I'm like,
so if we're believing though in Lawrence, like Kirk has got to have a smash season, right?
It's somebody does. Kirk, Ingram.
I don't have enough of Kirk. I want to get more, but he seems to go around a lot of the players. I'm kind of, like we would have to, could reach to grab him here and get the,
okay.
What number are we on? If you click the board for me.
Oh, can you not see it? We're about to be pick 80 overall here.
Okay. I see it there.
So I'm not a Josh Jacobs guy, but I do understand this ADP. He's falling. Russ at quarterback, Dak at quarterback, Schultz at tight end, Sky Moore, C-Pat, Miles Sanders.
How do you feel about Schultz?
I like Schultz.
I got a lot of him.
Yep, I really like Schultz.
So okay, I like Schultz a lot. I also like Elijah Mitchell here with him falling. Like obviously, I like the.
This is a pretty big fall. Yeah.
This is unusual fall, and I usually like to just try to get the value there. And I feel like tight end feels like I like Schultz a lot, but it's the position where if you don't get Schultz, you can just make it up with volume later.
I was just gonna say Schultz. I like Schultz because I think, he comes with an attachment to what hopefully I do have some concerns about Dallas, but what hopefully is a decent offense, and he really doesn't have any target competition.
So Dak threw 37 touchdowns in the regular season last year. I think Schultz is pass catcher too.
Behind CD. Yeah, behind
CD.
CD.
And I don't have you been taking CD? I've not been getting there.
Same thing. I force myself. There's all those kinds of guys. I need to
force some shares because obviously he could do it.
He falls in that range where I'm like, dude, I like this guy. He's good. He has upside. Blah, blah, blah. But like, I just like the guys around him better. So I have to force myself to take, this is the Watson thing. Like, I mean, the guy has upside. I need to force myself to take him. That's where CD falls.
I mean, I don't like he has upside, but as a first, like a fringe first round pick.
Yeah, he goes like early second round. Like trust me, there's no one that was, it was a little bit of a bit similar to a lot of these guys last year. No one was driving the float in the parade with CeeDee Lamb more than me last year. It was very fun, like to post the funny camp clips and all that kind of stuff. But like we jumped the shark last year at the 2-3 turn with him.
Yeah.
Now like Amari is gone. But like that didn't really change that much about the offense. You know what I mean? Like it maybe made his role more secure, which is why we're buying now. But then we just moved him up around. So it's like you didn't gain anything. All you did was increase the cost, and you didn't change the range really that much.
So with our staple of running backs right now,
yeah,
I think we could do 4. 5 makes sense as well.
I want to put this guy in here because I want to talk about. I added Goddard to the queue because I want to hear your take on those two specifically. Wide receivers pretty thin. Olave and Garrett Wilson.
What do we have 4 wide receivers? Yeah,
we have.
That.
Yeah. I should do the board a little bit more, but okay. So
I think we just take Schultz. Let's just take Schultz.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that he fell back here. What's your take on those? We'll include Hawk in that because that's kind of a little mini tier there. After when you get past Kittle and Waller, you get
straight up Hawk. Like Dawson Knox and Schultz more than Hawk and Goddard.
More than Goddard too. Was that the same before AJ Brown got there, or did it change when AJ Brown got there?
It was the same.
Wow, interesting.
I mean, with Knox, I straight up think he's going to take a talent jump where his floor is way lower, right? Like I
Yeah.
fully acknowledge his floor is lower, but I straight up think Knox could be like he has the talent to be like a Kittle or Kelsey, and he kind of compares to Kittle a little bit. And again, like I'm
athletically, right? Yeah, athletically.
Like,
yep.
I believe in the 2 tight end with Buffalo, and it's like, I'll take some Goddard because I like Hurts a lot, but Knox might be like he's definitely pass catcher 3 on the Bills in my opinion. But who knows? Like Crowder could have this like 120 target season out of nowhere.
That would make me so sick. It's possible.
It's kind of hard to sort out the back end of Buffalo's roster because like this Khalil Shakir guy's looking pretty good in camp.
Mm-hmm.
Rookie mini camp started the other day. We've seen McKenzie do it. But I just think like, with tight ends, I like to think about how many touchdowns the offense is going to score. And I don't see Philly scoring more passing touchdowns than the Bills.
Right. Or which is where it comes into Knox's favor. Or like, a talent leap. There's a young player with a profile that projects to be able to take a talent leap. And then when you combine them together, right, Knox has that and he has the offense that we want to invest in.
But yeah, like even with me saying that, like anyone listening should not be like, oh, I'm going to go 100% on those players because we all know tight end is one of the most high variance positions in fantasy. And I had a lot of Goddard last year, tons.
It's the one position I take a little less stands because of kind of what you said. I also feel like this year at tight end, there's a lot to like. I like a lot.
I like Logan Thomas. I like,
Gerald Everett is one of my favorite tight ends.
Noah Fant.
There's a lot. There's super late round guys.
Let's look at the players here.
Oh yeah, we are on the clock now. So we have 3 running backs, 4 wide receivers, and one tight end. Christian Watson, Robert Woods, Alan Lazard, Kadarius Toney, Jameson
I like
Williams.
Toney.
I am a big Toney fan.
Like just seeing those games last year, I'm a believer. And
I also really like getting these Giants, Toney, or Galladay or Saquon, and having the Giants stack in your back pocket, especially when you don't have a quarterback yet, like we do.
Yeah.
That's probably what has led me to so much goddamn Daniel Jones, which I'm just gonna, we're gonna again get to like week 7, and I'm gonna be, tilting my face off that I did this Giants thing again. But I mean, I don't know how you deny the upside with the Giants offense and with a running quarterback and with your former, OC.
Are you worried about Wan'Dale at all infringing on
Toney?
Yeah.
I mean, a little, but I think my take is Wan'Dale is so 2 things. Wan'Dale is more of a future bet. Sterling Shepard is not young anymore and just tore his Achilles. And so he's a little bit more of stepping into the Sterling Shepard insurance or just taking over that job from Sterling Shepard. Kadarius Toney is more of part of the future and is not going to lose his job to Darius Slayton. Now, Kenny Galladay has one of those outside jobs locked down for sure.
Is Toney strictly a slot? Is he strictly slot or?
So he played some on the outside last year, and I think he proved that he can play out there. That's also part of the risk with Toney.
He was electric on the field, like straight up electric.
He was unbelievable to watch in college, like from the, get the ball in his hands, but like from earning targets and all that kind of stuff, your traditional prospect metrics, he was terrible. But like what you saw, like once he had the ball, it was like, I mean, he's like untackleable. He is that electric. And so I'm buying him, and I'm also buying them on the Bills' trajectory in terms of when they first started, right? Dawson Knox until he was ready, they didn't really kind of ascend to this, even using a tight end. You would get a lot of 10 personnel from the Bills, and they have the wide receivers to do that. And they have Ricky Seals-Jones and a 4th-round rookie at tight end, and Jordan Akins.
The Bills roster was much worse than the Giants was when Dabble
right.
though.
Kenny Galladay, say whatever you want. We'll make a pick here.
We could either finish our running back and we could do something like James Cook, or I like Jameson Williams and just betting on the talent.
And we get a little bit of Detroit, a little more Detroit, and the two like.
And they're playing the Bears week 17, and they have a good playoff schedule.
I love the Lions, which is so funny because last year I was like really skittish on the Lions. Just like from like people were really starting to buy Swift, and Hawkinson was really expensive, and the whole Rashaad Perryman and Tyrell Williams nonsense I wasn't into. And this year it's like you don't have any of that uncertainty anymore. It's like Swift and Jamal Williams, that's it in the backfield. Hawkinson is the tight end. Now you got DJ Chark is there. It's not a Rashaad Perryman, Tyrell Williams situation. He's making $10 million guaranteed or whatever.
And he's a talent, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then Amon-Ra and Jameson. So
rewinding here, because I was gonna, if Singletary there, I was maybe gonna say we should take him because the way I'm viewing that Week 17 matchup, like Bills Bengals, is I think it's gonna be a rout for Buffalo. It's not gonna be like if you're trying to get a back and forth game, that's Rams Chargers to me. But
yes,
if the Bills are healthy,
Chiefs Broncos. I prefer those.
Scroll
as
down on the board. I only see the 4th round.
Yep, here we go.
Perfect. So like I think the Bills could smack the Bengals if healthy, and we've already seen Von Miller do it to the Bengals. I know they invested in the O-line, and he should be kind of load managed, is my guess, until later in the season.
They'll rotate. I mean, they have traditionally done that anyway. Rotate the defensive linemen and keep them fresh.
But what have you been doing with Singletary versus Cook? I mean, like if Singletary could have a 200-point season here.
I'm about to start taking Singletary. I was taking Cook, and now they're like the same price.
They're the same price, and I see Cook go ahead of him sometimes.
Yeah, which is just I like James Cook, and I also see you get a young rookie back who has the pass catching pedigree. You want to be in on that because we're not like I see a lot of concern around Cook, like he's just the pass catcher. He can't play this full role for fantasy.
He can like straight up run go routes.
But that's what I'm saying is like he has the one skill set that we know we need to unlock the upside from a running back is that you have to be able to play on passing downs. That's the thing he's best at. We're concerned about his ability to play on early downs, and all that kind of stuff. And I agree, but the JXP in our Discord said this about Cook specifically. He was like, we need to be humble and have a humility based approach to this. Like, I don't think he can play those early. I don't know that they want to use him in that way, but like it's in the range, and he's on the fucking Buffalo Bills, and he's the receiving back.
And he's second round pick, and the Bills, I think there was serious smoke about them trying to get CMC. And I think something that's possible is their goal line offense is 2 tight end, and so you have what I said on the field, but then Cook has the ability to flex into the slot at the last second. So he's actually the de facto slot receiver in the red zone. I don't know. Like that's what obviously I'm going to take Singletary and Cook. I don't think it's crazy to take some 18 round Zach Moss if either gets injured just to be different. Yeah. But I'd definitely be paying attention to camp there, and I like them both, and I don't even think it's crazy taking them both on the same team back when it was cheaper. Like now, they are literally going up in the same round here.
All right, so we're about to be on the clock.
I was going to say we could take naked Derek Carr.
We don't have a quarterback. These running backs I do actually kind of like. I'm on Rojo. I'm on Penny. I'm on Ramondre.
I like all these guys.
And we could close out running back with one of these guys and then just start to hammer.
I think we take Penny. Penny won me $1 million. You're never going to see me talk bad about Rashaad
But
Dollar.
hey, between the two of us, we won $1,012,501 on
Don't
Rashaad.
forget about I won 5K in the puppy too. So
$1,017,501
there you go. There you go.
on thanks to Rashaad Penny. I'll never forget that. I know we talked about this. Everybody needs to go back and watch. It was very shortly after Liam won Best Ball Mania 2. We actually started the show that we do on every Wednesday now, Best Ball Bros here on this channel. And Liam was the first guest, and we reminisced about that championship weekend. And the Rashaad Penny thing was just wild, man. It was like even when he didn't score a touchdown, which he scored a lot of touchdowns in that game, even when he didn't score a touchdown, like he would bust through the line and get like 6 yards before he was touched, and you were like I would like stand up every time. I was just like, another one here, here we go.
Yeah.
You know, it was wild.
Yeah, I don't have any Kenneth Walker, and
No. I'm taking Penny though.
I got Penny because he's cheaper. Okay. Can you click the
what are you
quarterback
starting
button?
to think about? Quarterback?
Yeah, can you click the quarterback button?
Cousins, Tua, Lawrence. This is a fine range for all of these guys. Cousins,
Can you
Tua,
click
Lawrence.
the tight end button?
Yep. Freiermuth, Irv, Hunter Henry, Komet, Higbee.
Well, let's see what Chris and ZJB does here. Wow.
Hamler. Wow. Hamler, 135th overall. Fucking ship chasers, man.
I think we take Freiermuth, and it leaves us for a Pickett last round quarterback. And I mean, the dude scored 7 touchdowns last year. You know,
he's good. He's good at football.
Yeah, I mean, so
yeah, wide receiver is pretty barren, and I actually like. And maybe this is a thing that just happens to me. I don't know if this happens to you. You start to look into like a lot of these late round guys, because I just don't want to take literally the same 18th round pick, 17th round pick every single time. And I start to look into a bunch of different guys. I become enamored, and I talk myself into like, oh, there's a lot of available guys late that I like. And like, really, they're all just probably shit. But I convince myself that they're better than they actually are.
I like some of the later round, especially wide receivers, than I do the guys in this round. And I see Chris just said he was doing 2 drafts and he autoed Hamler.
What is it? Hamler's ADP is like 190 or something like that.
Yeah, 170. I don't know. Okay, so can you scroll down to our squad on the thing? I just want to see.
Yep.
So are we saying we're done at running back here?
I'll do it I think so. We went Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Swift, DJ Moore, Mike Williams, Gabriel Davis, Travis Etienne, Elijah Mitchell, Dalton Schultz, Kadarius Toney, Jamison Williams, Rashaad Penny, Pat Freiermuth. So our running backs would be DeAndre Swift, Travis Etienne, Elijah Mitchell, and Rashaad Penny. I mean, when we get to the 17th or 18th, if the best, that's kind of how I view those late rounds. Is like if there's a guy there that's a running back that we like, it's like I'm not gonna
it's because like, you know, obviously we like our wide receivers too. Are you thinking Jameson plays the whole season?
That's what I'm torn on. I would say it's 50-50. I tend to think that these recovery times are like insane right now. And the hard part is to know, you know, you kind of have to know a little bit more of the specifics about what kind of tear and stuff these guys have had, how clean it was. You know, I didn't look into like if he tore any of the other ligaments, all that kind of stuff. And so that's an important factor. But I tend to lean towards like, you know, they're going to get him out there, and like he's going to be rearing to be out there, you know, and I don't think these teams have that much incentive to hold these guys out. Like the Detroit Lions want to win. We say whatever we think about the Detroit Lions and how they should view. Like the Texans are maybe like the only team that's going into this season like, yeah, you know, we don't really.
No, I think the Seahawks. The Seahawks are the
Seahawks. But they might still think that like the bullshit that Pete Carroll's spewing about Drew Lock.
Other young quarterbacks' life.
But you know what I mean? Like you don't think Dan Campbell is showing up to camp like, yeah, we're fucking winning the Super Bowl, dude. Like, of course he is. I get it's not reasonable, but he's gonna try to win too.
I think he's very likable. Like I'm a Dan Campbell believer.
I bought a Jameson Williams jersey.
Oh, okay.
So Jameson Williams from St. Louis.
Oh, I was just there for a wedding.
I'm a big. Well, what the fuck, man? Hold on.
We'll talk about this. Let's take Trevor.
Yes, we got to take Trevor. And we can.
Do you live in St. Louis?
I live right outside of the city. Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that. I went to the Chess Hall of Fame. It was a blast.
Yeah.
You saw that. You saw that. I said
I did see that. I did see that, and I saw your goddamn Crocs in in every picture that you post now.
I splurged.
We've branded. No. Well, next time. Next time you gotta hit me.
Oh, I'll be back. Yeah, the chess club there is amazing.
Hey, there's some good things about St. Louis. Just don't wander into some of the bad areas.
I think it's a very beautiful city, honestly. Like I had a blast. A lot of nature there, So
there is. It's unique. I would call it unique. I think it is. It's very different than a lot of other places.
Yeah, I mean, I had no expectations coming in, but I liked it.
So, what do you think? So we're 5 picks away, right? We have Lawrence, so we have the Lawrence ETN thing. We have Zay or Visca or Marvin or something in our back pocket. I don't know if Marvin's even still around. But how are you thinking?
5 more picks
when we get to. That's correct. When you get to this point, what do you think? Like you only have one late-ish round quarterback. Are you always going 3 here? Are you making sure that it's stacked up? How are you starting to think about this?
I'm going 3 here, and with this team, I just feel strong at every position. I might even go 4 if someone falls. Like obviously with 20 rounds, that's easier to stomach. But it's not like we're weak really anywhere.
No.
And who are our I mean, I like Wilson or Ryan. I definitely want one of those, and I feel like we could get Daniel on the loop around.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask is, do you think Jones comes back? Because he's my preference, and we already have the stack set up. Zach Wilson would be the guy I would take over Matt Ryan, though.
All right, let's take Wilson, and
okay.
I mean, you could definitely. We could also just do 2 quarterback with these 2, and just be like, okay, they're going to be better in the second year.
Yeah.
And we could load up at wide receiver and add a running back. But we'll see. Like, I feel like a lot of when you do enough of these drafts, you get a feel for players that you can almost see their ADP slipping in real time. Like Michael Carter was like, like regularly 2 rounds, even 2 days ago, regularly 2 rounds after. I was like, okay, he's going to be, 20 rounds later tomorrow on the update. And then he was. Is there any late round guys we can even do with Wilson? I don't even think it's really necessary. It's just kind of like
Braxton Berrios.
Is he gonna even see the field? Like, who's he see the field over?
No, he's not.
No, yeah, like
he's the backup slot receiver.
I don't know because how do you rank the AFC East after Buffalo?
Ooh, that is a great question.
It would not shock me if any of those teams are 4th.
So no, I totally agree. So I do think specific to the Jets, they're set up. Their entire roster is set up really well.
I like the coach. They were smart. Wilson may just be garbage. Like we have to kind of wait and see. And my guess is they would want to protect him and run the ball, just that type of
But they also just loaded up the weapons.
But their weapons are amazing. Yeah.
Awesome.
So.
Chris G says the Finns
are last
are the second. I think Chris, correct me, our second. He has the Dolphins.
I think that's the chalk pick.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the Patriots are better.
It's not going to be. Maybe I don't know. They lost J.C. Jackson. I mean, I think Mac Jones is upside is a better Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
that could come.
Derek Carr on steroids.
Yeah, and I mean Derek Carr, he got picked right before us. He has like the potential to be a Matt Stafford leap this year.
He
With
has
the weapon.
Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfro, and Darren Waller on his team.
I mean, I don't really like his coach too much, like Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
You know what he's been running in New England, but who knows? Okay, we could sneak a stack and add a third quarterback here, depending what happens here.
Yep. So just to recap, we at the receiver positions, we have Diggs and Gabe, and then DJ Moore, Mike Williams, Kadarius Toney, Jameson Williams, and then obviously there's no stack for Schultz, but we do have Pat Freiermuth. So we're opened up to.
Well, and we do have some correlation because the Seahawks play the Jets.
Yep.
So we got that Penny Wilson week 17 correlation.
I also think with Wilson going so much after all of his weapons, it's one of those things where like it's not the end of the world. Like we used in the DK final this year, we Pete and I used Mac Jones's score. I mean, I guess we had Hunter Henry, but like, you know, it didn't really like it was just kind of like as long as none of those guys go completely nuclear. So there is Daniel Jones here, obviously Matt Ryan.
Do you want to get Jones for the snack for the stack?
I personally do. He's one of my guys. He's one of my guys.
And he's a rushing quarterback too. So like with all these semi-mobile quarterbacks, and it doesn't. I'm fine doing 3 with this gang because it doesn't even matter if you don't have a Zach Wilson stack. Like, you know, he could fall in the end zone twice.
Yeah, and that's Wilson ran more than I thought he would last year too. But I like this is what I like to do with these late round quarterback teams. And I think everybody has decided that late round quarterback is not a thing anymore. And like, trust me, I understand the data and I understand how, you know, I prefer to have Josh Allen on my team too.
Yeah.
But I think I don't want to have 0 of teams like this either.
Are you going to be at 8% Josh Allen or less?
I haven't drafted Josh Allen yet. So I don't know if I'm going to get to 8. But
I'll have
what about you? What are you doing with Josh Allen?
I'm not at like 24% like I was last year.
Last year was like easy. I was way overweight Josh Allen last year, and I wasn't anything like you. It was easy to do it last year.
Can I see the wide receivers while we talk about this? I'm going to have some just because the thought is like if most sharp people are thinking alike, they're not going to take him in the second round. So, you know, it's just kind of like whatever, eat a pick, hope that round kind of gets injured, and just hope that you can build a strong team. What's it looking like at running back?
God damn, wide receiver is gross. So I just put Wandale in there just because.
What do you think about Kendrick Bourne?
I don't actually hate Kendrick Bourne, which makes me sick. Like kind of sick to say.
I mean, the dude had a 150-point season last year. I want to talk about the New England pass catchers after this.
Yeah.
I like Tyrion. You want to grab Tyrion and just
so he was. I was putting him in there. I know we talked about not needing another running back, but he's one of the guys that I think offers a upside here late that is worth considering at least. We don't have to necessarily take him here, but
we have Elijah.
Oh shit, you're right.
See. I would lean Kendrick over Wandale because I think I like Brian Robinson too. I think that really is going to be like a.
Let's do Bourne. I like. I definitely my problem with Robinson. My problem with Washington, which is Robinson has the same problems as Gibson. Obviously, he's like 10 rounds cheaper or whatever. But when I'm getting this contingent bet here, right? Like Tyrion Davis-Price. Elijah Mitchell goes down and it's like, yes, that's it. Boom. Yahtzee. Right. Or even he could just end up being like the what we thought Sermon was going to be. And Mitchell is what we thought Mostert was going to be. And he's valuable.
Yeah.
Like, Brian Robinson is like never going to play on passing downs while JD McKissick is there. He might not play on passing downs, even if JD McKissick gets hurt. And then he's already splitting work with Antonio Gibson, right? He needs a 3-leg parlay to come through.
I've not been taking JD this year because I think Carson Wentz is Like, look at what he did to Hines. He's not good for.
Hines died. Hines literally died with Garcia.
Yeah, and I've been taking Hines this year because I think Matt Ryan will use him.
Yep.
But let's talk about the New England pass catchers. Like,
Okay.
Because who is Jacoby Myers now off the field for Devontae? Is Kendrick Bourne was legit. I was not a believer in him. I made fun of him.
I know
He was
same.
legit good last year.
He was.
So I've been taking him quite a bit as like the guys I'm getting this round is like I'm taking Curtis Samuel. Like, is he back? What's going on?
Yeah.
I've been taking Kendrick Bourne. What do you think about the New England pass catchers? And I like getting these pass catchers from statue quarterback teams who should be at worst 500-ish.
Especially late, because it's just an easier path to scoring points, right? If you're already a cheap lottery ticket wide receiver late and you're attached to Jalen Hurts, right? It's just going to be harder. You're already going to have to beat out other people to earn targets, and the quarterback has is rushing. So you're losing out in that way. My take on New England is I'm a Jacoby Myers stan. So I guess I should first say I had the same. We're in the exact same boat on Kendrick Bourne. I was like, could not believe they even honestly signed him. People were drafting him, and I'm like, am I fucking missing something?
Yeah, I'm like this guy who dropped a touchdown in the playoffs. He's ass.
I could not believe anyone was even drafting him. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't make sense to me. And you could not have been more. My Kendrick Bourne take was, completely wrong, 180 degrees. And so I'm interested in him. I'm interested in late Mac Jones stacks, because I've heard multiple people now. Hayden Winks was the first one that said it, where he thinks they might go a little bit more pass heavy now with Mac in his second year. And that intrigues me, right? Because I do think Mac is actually pretty good, and Kendrick Bourne is decent. Jacoby Myers is the guy. Hunter Henry is a good player. Who knows what about
Well, Henry's easy because there's no one new. But what is their? Let's say they're 3 wide. What does that look like to you? Is it Myers in the slot? Parker
Myers
outside?
in the slot, Bourne, and I think it's probably Parker. Yeah.
So Tycon Thornton's just not seeing the field?
I don't think so. I think they want him to see the field. Is what figure out a way to get him on the field as the deep downfield flyer. So I've actually taken him a little bit, one or two times.
I've taken him a couple times. Yeah, because the dude's got 4.28 speed, and everyone is so slow on their team. They need someone to make the safeties go backwards.
Yep. And so
let's click the wide receiver button. I think
we have 3 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 7 wide receivers, and 2 tight ends, and we have 2 picks left. And I think we're good at tight end.
What's the wide receivers look like?
Oh, I didn't click. Ooh, boy.
Have you taken? What's your belief on Justin Ross? He's either like a league winner or he doesn't play this year.
I haven't taken him. I'm open to being convinced otherwise.
I mean, I have no conviction. I've seen social media highlights of him catching passes.
Yeah, right. I don't have any conviction.
I was taking Marcus Callaway quite a bit, but now they signed Jarvis.
So Landry, so he's dead.
I mean,
he's pretty dead. Hold on, I'm scrolling to see if I can. Oh, dude, we got to take Zay.
Oh yeah,
we got to take Zay.
Easy. Let's take Zay, and then let's take a peek at
running back, right?
Running back.
Oh, well, Robinson is still there. I'm just going to cue him. I don't know if he'll get back to us. There's some running backs here.
I like Haskins. I like Foreman. I don't really know much about Haskins, but he seems to be Derrick Henry's backup.
And Foreman is the market had the Carolina backup situation all fucked up for a while. Chuba was going ahead of Foreman for most of the time. Now finally he's going behind him, but even still, Foreman's going at pick 205.
What about Arizona's backup? Are you leaning Keontae or?
Everyone in our damn Discord keeps talking about Keontae Ingram, and I don't know, man. I'm not really buying it. I haven't done.
I think Eno's 5'9" and Keontae's 5'11", 220.
So you're buying the just a little bit more of the profile.
I don't know. I mean, I've not looked into obviously if we knew who it was, we would want one of them, I think. Right? Like Arizona is not Buffalo. They like to run the ball far more.
My other take here, I'm putting Dearness in here because and maybe we can talk about that after what's going on there, right? It's hard for me to imagine one of them doesn't get moved. So do you like one of these?
He's not signed his tender yet, I think.
I know. And so if he goes somewhere else, he's really valuable. Or if Hunt goes somewhere else, same thing.
So Carolina plays the Bucks. Probably don't want that week 17. The Titans play the Cowboys. That's some correlation for us. Washington plays Cleveland. So
let's do Haskins.
Let's do Haskins because he at least correlates with Schultz.
Yep. I also like the I would use this one in DFS, the tight end running back specifically.
Yeah.
Because it's so much easier for that tight end to benefit from. So I think back to when the Jags played the Seahawks this year. Dan Arnold, if you remember, was the starting tight end for the Jaguars. And
I had a lot of him on DK.
He was min priced on DK, and he caught 9 balls because they fell down by 20 points. And the tight end is just the defense is playing prevent. They're playing prevent. They're keeping everything in front of them. And so who on the Cowboys benefits from that? Dalton Schultz, right? And so, obviously who knows what happens in that game, but if you get to that situation, I really like that specific correlation. If you
that makes sense. Thinking through it, and that's probably when we would want Haskins to be playing anyways, is later in the season. Yeah. Hopefully Derek's getting some rest or injured or whatever.
So we'll real quick while everybody's wrapping up, and then I see Corbin, I see you in the chat, and we'll run down some teams. But we'll run down our team just specifically for the audio folks. And we started with Stephon Diggs in the first round. What a fucking surprise with Liam. DeAndre Swift in the second, DJ Moore, Mike Williams, Gabe Davis. So we even without Josh Allen, we got our Bill stack in there. Travis Etienne, Elijah Mitchell, Dalton Schultz, Kadarius Toney, Jamison Williams, Rashaad Penny, Pat Freiermuth, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Daniel Jones. So we just smashed some late round quarterbacks. Kendrick Bourne, Zay Jones, and Hassan Haskins for 3-5-8-2, I believe.
Our quarterbacks are stacked except for Zach Wilson, who at least correlates with one of our opposing team running backs, week 17.
Yep. And I'm trying to buy some more Jags.
Because, the Jags and the Jets both have good playoff schedules, we think,
beautiful.
From here.
Yes. I mean, it's hard to imagine they don't have a good playoff schedule. It may not be this damn I forgot we can't they're having a little glitch that we can't go to the full draft from here.
Oh.
My dogs are playing literally right next to me. They like to wrestle.
They liked our draft.
Yeah, apparently they liked our draft.
If you're in the chat and you want us to look at yours, let us know.
Corbin mentioned his from the 11 spot, and he got Najee down at 11, and I think that's pretty good.
Good value. Joe Mixon plays the Bills. That's probably a slight minus for week 17.
Can we talk about that super quickly before we get out of here? I talked about this yesterday on the show here. And I think I saw you tweet about it as well, that I don't think people perceive, because the Bills offense is so good, that any game with the Bills is good. And maybe they have the Chiefs playoff game in their minds. Yeah. The Bills, I don't think people understand how good the Bills defense is.
Yeah. And I mean, so thinking historically their cornerback too, Levi Wallace, was not that good. He was serviceable, but it would be oh, I want T. Higgins here. Who knows? Tre'Davious White should be full health by then. And I mean, the Bills defense is lights out, but who knows, right? One of the safeties goes down, one of the corners goes down, Von Miller goes down. We're talking about a different story here. But
But they're deep though too. Like relative to like every NFL team has that issue, right? Like look at the Ravens last year. We thought they were a good defense. They lost like 3 of their most important players, and they were literally getting lit. I mean, that's why people won a lot of money.
And their slot corner is very good, so it's not like not like a Tyler Boyd target game quite either. Their run defense has usually been a little suspect, but I mean they invested in their D line like heavily. Like their backup D line is like starting for the Texans, like right now. Darth Oblivion. Yeah. Okay. Darth I think this guy said he did his first draft the other day. He was asking for.
Oh wow. Okay. Cooper Kupp. So Kupp, Higgins, Saquon.
Have you been taking Higgins at that price?
A little.
I mean, you got to get some shares, but like, I'm not convinced that like he is that like he should be more expensive than Mike Williams, Gabriel, like wide receiver twos on other good offenses.
The only thing that it's again similar to not similar to what we talked about with like CD and Deshaun Watson, where I'm forcing myself to take him because I do want T Higgins, but the players on good. You talked about it with Keenan. Like nothing about T Higgins at that price like stands out to me so much, but like I'm not going to be so arrogant to be like, a T Higgins is 9 picks overpriced. So I'm you know what I mean? He's the wide receiver 2 on the fucking Bengals, and he's really good, you know? So like, I'm not going to do that thing. And I do think that's a mistake a lot of people make way too often, where it's like, I have that guy 1 round cheaper, so I'm not going to have any of him. And it's like, if you think that about a guy on the Texans, okay, that's fine. If you think that about a guy on the Bills or the Bengals, or teams like that, it's like, maybe let's pump the brakes on exactly, 10 picks of ADP and how much that really matters.
Yeah. Okay. So he's got, I know you're a big Saquon guy.
Oh yeah. I'm big Saquon guy. And I really like Saquon. You get him in the early 3rd round. The wide receiver, you get like a little mini tier break at wide receiver around there. So he just fits into teams really well. Not a big David Montgomery guy personally.
But I view a lot of those running backs kind of in the 2-3 similar, like Leonard Fournette, Aaron Jones, Saquon. Like I want bits of all Javonte. Like I want some of all of them.
Corbin, we'll come back. I apologize. We got distracted on the Bills. No, I mean Liam's here, so we got distracted on the Bills. We'll finish Darth Oblivion's team here. Got the James Cook. I mean, even getting James Cook after ADP now, I think is reasonable. I'm fine with these running backs. Like I said, not a huge David Montgomery guy, but James Cook, get a little bit of youth. Get Dearness, who I clearly talked about that I like. Kupp, Higgins, Godwin, Thielen, Olave, Bell, Wandale, Sterling Shepard. So you kind of stole a secondary Giants stack, which I like. Gronk, Komet, and you have Brady Fields. So got Brady, Godwin, Gronk, and Fields, Komet, and that's it. Yeah, and Montgomery. And so
I'm not quite sure why he loaded up on the Giants at the end. Maybe that's his hometown team. It doesn't really like correlate week 17 or anything like that, but I mean, those are like Wandale could be good, and Sterling has been good in the past.
And you would prefer to attach those late guys to some sort of correlation with the team that you've already drafted.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to do that, still doing it with some form of secondary stack here is still like, it's better than just picking whoever, right?
Yes,
picking,
absolutely.
Two random flyers. Okay, Corbin, sorry. And we said, oh, look, you got Najee. What do you think about the Bills this year? That's it. So Najee Mixon, I like the 4 running backs. You got your first 2, Najee Mixon, and then kind of a high upside 5th, 6th round pick in Breece, and then waited and finished it off with the 4th round guy.
And look at his quarterbacks real quick, because obviously you can go 2 with Russell, but Ryan Tannehill is like, he falls to this position all the time.
I've seen him undrafted.
And I don't see Malik Willis taken.
That's true.
So I don't know what's really happening there. How about Robert Woods? What's your? I don't have much of Robert Woods at all.
I haven't taken Robert Woods.
I haven't taken because he goes right next to Jameson, and they're both injured, and one is young and one is not.
You're right.
It's kind of like
that's a really good deciding factor. It's like, look, if I'm gonna take a fucking injured guy, I'm gonna take the 22-year-old, not the 32-year-old.
yeah. A lot of the decisions are pretty simple. Like just keep it simple. Like it should work in the long run. I think it's a bit expensive for Sky Moore. Lazard's either going to smash or the Packers are going to sign like 5 guys. I'm not really sure what's going to go on with them. Tim Patrick could be upside. I have a lot of George Pickens and Alec Pierce. I don't know what is the upside case for Pickens though? Like I've been taking a lot of him, but I don't know if he can smash unless Pickett does.
I think I agree with the second point wholeheartedly. Like Pickett has to be good because George Pickens is never going to be the leader on that offense this year, at least. I mean, I guess unless he's like first year OBJ or something like that, but it's a very, very, very low probability because we pretty much know what Deontay is, and Claypool is good too. The upside case is definitely that just like Ben was that bad and Pickett is good.
Basically. Yeah, and an injury can happen, and all you need is a spike week for it to pay off in the playoffs.
Right, and that's what we were talking about with Higgins earlier. That was the other thing where it's like on the good offenses with good quarterbacks and stuff like that, like he's not a perfect price, but like all it takes is one ankle roll on Jamar Chase, and you're like, yeah, I hate that I don't, if you faded T. Higgins. And so Pickens is a similar thing. Tim Patrick is similar to that here on this team as well.
Yeah, I like the Tim Patrick.
Cedric Wilson is probably similar to that with a Tua team, right? He didn't have a stack with Tua, I don't think. And so you just attach on Cedric Wilson and like, I mean, no one's excited for Cedric Wilson, but Jalen Waddle, gets hurt again, and you have the wide receiver too with him in the 18th round. So,
what have you been doing with KJ Osborne? The dude scored 7 touchdowns last year.
It's so hard for me to like. So if he were cheaper, I would be like he'd be right with. I would be. I don't know where he got. I can't pull up.
He goes like 170 or something. Like
it just feels like he feels like a 17th, 18th round guy to me. And he
7 touchdowns.
I know. Well, a couple of them were in. I would have to pull it up.
So yeah, I mean, I think he had a couple like
didn't he have like 3 weeks in a row where he was just like an absolute stone cold smash?
I don't know. Like I straight up don't know much about the guy. Don't even know if I've seen, right? I don't even know if I've seen him play. But I look at like the past season. I'm like, okay, he scores touchdowns. Adam Thielen's old. Kirk Cousins can support people, and there's uncertainty with that offense where maybe they're going to be running more 3 wide receiver. Maybe they're doing more committee running back. I don't know.
Yeah. He's one I should probably take my own advice a little bit on and not be stubborn because I'm definitely being a little bit stubborn. And like you said, so he's going to be on the field. There's uncertainty, which breeds upside in the offense. A quarterback that's good enough. Thielen is, on his last leg, literally.
I'm still taking him.
I know. Me too. That's a nice price. People have been drafting Adam Thielen in the 4th round for like 5 years, and now nothing has changed.
I did 2 years ago. Last year I tried to outsmart it. Got kind of lucky. He got hurt.
Yeah, but now he goes in the 7th round.
Yeah,
so it's a lot better. But again, on the what's the difference between him and these other guys, in the 15th, 16th round? I don't really think there's that big of a difference. And again, the guys that have the contingent value type of thing, I always want to keep that in my back pocket. Like, I don't want to have 0 KJ Osborne because I was just being stubborn. And then Adam Thielen goes down and you have the wide receiver 2 on what could be a really good offense.
Yeah.
So that's like the Denver thing. It's like, I'm not like, is Tim Patrick sexy at pick 131? No. I like Tim Patrick fine, but it's not. You're not like jumping out of your chair when you got Tim Patrick on your team at pick 130. But all it takes is Jerry Jeudy hides his significant other's cell phone again, or what?
Her formula in the car. Like he just sounds like an asshole, like this man child. I don't know what's going on with that.
So the baby. Yeah, he hides baby formula.
He hides her formula in her like baby toy. Like just total like messed up weirdo stuff.
So clearly this guy's not really, all there. And so all it takes is one Jerry
The
Jeudy
man
swap
with
out
2
for.
first names. That's the guy
Yeah.
you want. Tim Patrick.
I guess technically Jerry Jeudy has 2 first names.
Yeah,
too.
I guess.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that about wraps us up. Let's before we hop out. I know you're like really starting to dive in, obviously in your drafts and stuff, but doing some content. Getting a lot more involved outside of just chess streams with old Pete last year. You're really diving into the space this summer. What can we look forward to from you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to start 2 channels. One's going to be for chess, so if that interests you, keep a lookout for that. And then
I'm fascinated by the chess stuff. So I will be watching.
I have kind of like a niche idea I'm going to do.
Nice.
And then one is I've reached out to a couple people. Thanks, Chase. About, just coming on shows, just building the profile. And I don't know. I'm in some websites have reached out about writing content. I like videos more. So I think I'm going to start my own channel there, just stream some drafts, come on shows like yours and other friends in the industry, and hopefully having a great summer. And thanks for having me on, Erik. It was a blast as always. And thanks for bearing with my COVID voice.
Yeah, it's okay. It was only the first like 5 minutes. You coughed like 3 times, and I was like, "Oh God, is he gonna die on stream here?" But
I'm trending up. I'm trending up.
Yeah. You're getting this. Doing a draft and talking about fantasy football cures COVID, apparently. But no, this is a lot of fun. We'll definitely. This won't be the only time you see Liam. This summer, that is for sure. Not obviously on his channel here, all sorts of other places. But everybody have a wonderful weekend. I'm about to go sweat my Celtics bets because these losers keep losing. These losers keep choking.
And you can catch me at Twitter for those that don't. At Chess Liam.
That way.
There you go.
At Chess, yeah, whatever. At Chess Liam on Twitter. And I will be back with you guys on Monday. One thing I will say, we said we weren't going to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it. If you're still hanging around and you're looking for some DraftKings stuff, because I know DraftKings just launched their big contest, we'll be pushing out rankings and strategy and all that stuff like ASAP. This coming this weekend. So if you're around, you're still in the chat. DraftKings stuff is coming on SpikeWeek.com this weekend. But for Liam and for myself, I'll see you guys Monday. Liam will see you guys all summer. Later. Peace.
See ya.